Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Increase your knowledge to gain more power. Power. And you know, I said I was going to be talking about power a bit more and everything. And you know, there's the cliche saying, knowledge is power. Knowledge applied is power. But you got to get the knowledge first. You have to get the knowledge before you get anything else. And in order to do that, you have to increase your knowledge. Now, whether it's reading books, whether it's attending lectures, whether it's watching videos or something on social media that increase your knowledge, whatever you got to do. It could be watching documentaries on like a streaming service or something. It's increasing your knowledge. You get more power because then when something happens, you have the knowledge to deal with it. A lot of times when you have different situations, you don't know what to do in that situation. That's part of the reason you want to have knowledge, or you want to have conversations with people, maybe even arguments with people. If the more knowledge you have, the more you can deal with that situation. And you always want to do that. You look, I'm going to tell you what. I have the knowledge I do. I can talk about different things. I can talk about not just what I talk about on here about relationships, but I can also talk about what I talk about on my Deep Thought channel. And I can also talk about what's on my money channel. If I wanted to, I could do a political channel. Now, hold up real quick. Don't get on here and say, hey, Rom, we need a political channel. No, I'm not going to do it. I'll probably delete your comment. No, I ain't gonna get into politics. Shoot. But I can if I wanted to. If I do, I'll do. You know, there's a lot of stuff I could talk about. The reason why, because I got that knowledge. I got that knowledge. Knowledge is important. Knowledge is indeed power. Knowledge applied is power. But you have to have it first. That's one thing, when you're going through life, you can't be a man who's just ignorant. He's dumb, don't know what's going on, you know? And sometimes that knowledge might be street smarts. That's very important. I talked about that on my Deep Thought channel. You know, being able to handle yourself out here in the streets. And I don't mean necessarily dealing with thugs or anything like that, just dealing with people every day. That's knowledge too. Knowledge of people. You know, knowledge of different types of people, you know, real knowledge, not stereotypical knowledge or something like that, but real knowledge, like know who you dealing with, right? Know who you dealing with, not just some fantasy or not just some stereotypes in your mind, but really know who you dealing with. Indeed, the legendary philosopher Sun Tzu said, if you know yourself and you know your enemy, you need not fear the results of 100 battles. Now, I'm not saying people out here are your enemy, but if you know them and you encounter them and you know yourself, in fact, I'm going to get into yourself in a second, but you know yourself, you need not fear these encounters. Now, what I was going to say about knowing yourself, that's the most important knowledge that you're going to have. In fact, that should really be what you start out with. Know yourself, know what you're capable of doing. There's a lot of guys out here, a lot of men who don't know themselves. They don't know what their talents are. They don't know what they're capable of and what they're not capable of. That's why they are failing in life. You got to know yourself. You got to know what you're capable of, what you're capable of doing. Then you start with everyone else. You start with everything else, you know? But especially, I can't emphasize that strong enough, knowing yourself, just having knowledge. And then you don't stop with knowledge. It don't stop because you graduated some school. It don't stop because you just took a class. That's a constant thing. Like I've said in the past, I cannot talk about quantum physics in Mandarin, which means I still have some knowledge. And even if I learn quantum physics, that's powerful, or even Mandarin, then I can't do it in Tree. That's a language from Ghana. Or I can't do it in French or Spanish. That means there's always something. And that's one thing too, even some of the most knowledgeable people that I've encountered in life, the more knowledge they get, the more they realize there's still stuff to learn. You can learn stuff up to the day that you transition. And plus, let's look at even that. You don't have knowledge of what happens when you transition. So that's knowledge right there, right? And you want to just keep going. And that's something. And that's one part of my philosophy. Always get knowledge. Always. That's why when I do my Saturday and Sunday videos, I'm in front of a bookcase. You know? That's why, you know, even though despite what I might see with Rom, Professor Rom is still around too. You know? And you wanna have that knowledge. And it really is power, because think about the stuff that you know. Think about it. Like if you just want to make money, you gotta have knowledge to make money. You have to have knowledge of something. These millionaires and billionaires out here, they had knowledge of something. Even if it was just knowledge of how to invest their money, they had knowledge. You want to have knowledge in as many areas as possible in everything. But you also want to apply it. You don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. You want to master a body of knowledge, especially more than anything other than knowing yourself. You know yourself, master a body of knowledge, and then have knowledge of other things. But mastering a body of knowledge, you should be to the point somebody can come to you and you could talk about what you know. And let me be clear on that. You don't have to know anything in particular to be seen as a master. I had mentioned before when I knew this guy who would get foreclosed houses, and he had to have people clean them out. And I was with him one time when he had this guy who was cleaning out the house, and the guy didn't seem intelligent otherwise, but knew how to clean out houses. And this millionaire was standing there listening to him, because he realized he had to respect that guy's knowledge. That guy knew about how to clean out houses. Now the millionaire knew how to get the houses, but this other guy knew how to clean out the houses. You know? It don't matter what it is. And you want to get that. You want to, and the more knowledge that you have, the more power you have. You know? I'm known for, I got my Money Matters channel. If you want a business, you got to have knowledge of that business. You know? If you're dealing with people, like they don't really, you know, it's a shame they don't really teach you how to deal with people for relationships. But you can still learn it. You can learn it by not just listening to someone like me, but going out there and engaging with people. You know, if you want more knowledge of women, more guys watch this channel for Man Gets Woman, you have to have knowledge of them. You have to engage with them. It's more than just listening to a video. In fact, what I always say about these videos, I say, hey, you can listen to me, but go out there and find out on your own. That's knowledge right there, all right? You want to have that. That gives you better, you know? That gives you better. You want to constantly get knowledge. You want to know yourself. You want to master a body of knowledge, but then you want to have just knowledge in general. And we're talking about power right there, all right? And I want y'all to think about that and really go out and get that knowledge, all right? That's all I have for right now. I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.